Who among you will take up the duty of feeding the hungry? Lord Buddha asked his followers when famine raged at Shravasti. Ratnakar, the banker, hung his head and said, "Much more is needed than all my wealth to feed the hungry." Jason, the chief of the king's army, said, "I would gladly give my life's blood, but there is not enough food in my house." Dharmapal, who owned broad acres of land, said with a sigh, "The drought demon has sucked my fields dry. I know not how to pay king's dues." Then rose Sapriya, the mendicant's daughter. She bowed to all and meekly said, "I will feed the hungry." "How?" they cried in surprise. "How can you hope to fulfill that vow?" "I am the poorest of you all," said Sapriya. "That is my strength. I have my coffer and my store at each of your houses." My king was unknown to me. Therefore, when he claimed his tribute, I was bold to think I would hide myself, leaving my debts unpaid. I fled and fled behind my day's work and my night's dreams. But his claims followed me at every breath I drew. Thus I came to know that I am known to him, and no place left which is mine. Now I wish to lay my all before his feet and gain the right to my place in his kingdom. When I thought I would mold you, an image from my life for men to worship, I brought my dust and desires and all my colored delusions and dreams. When I asked you to mold with my life an image from your heart for you to love, you brought your fire and force and truth, loveliness and peace. "Sire," announced the servant to the king, "the saint Narottam has never deigned to enter your royal temple. He is singing God's praise under the trees by the open road. The temple is empty of worshippers. They flock round him like bees round the white lotus, leaving the golden jar of honey unheeded. The king, vexed at heart, went to the spot where Narottam sat on the grass. He asked him, "Father, why leave my temple of the golden dome and sit on the dust outside to preach God's love?" "Because God is not there in your temple," said Narottam. The king frowned and said, "Do you know, 20 millions of gold went to the making of that marvel of art, and it was consecrated to God with costly rites." "Yes, I know it," answered Narottam. "It was in that year when thousands of your people whose houses had been burned stood vainly asking for your help at your door." And God said, "The poor creature who can give no shelter to his brothers would build my house?" And he took his place with the shelterless under the trees by the road. And that golden bubble is empty of all but hot vapor of pride. The king cried in anger, "Leave my land." "Calmly," said the saint, "Yes, banish me where you have banished my God." The trumpet lies in the dust. The wind is weary, the light is dead. Ah, the evil day. Come, fighters, carrying your flags and singers with your war songs. Come, pilgrims of the march, hurrying on your journey. The trumpet lies in the dust, waiting for us. I was on my way to the temple with my evening offerings, seeking for a place of rest after the day's dusty toil, hoping my hurts would be healed and the stains in my garment washed white, when I found thy trumpet lying in the dust. Was it not the hour for me to light my evening lamp? Had not the night sung its lullaby to the stars? O thou blood-red rose, my poppies of sleep have paled and faded. I was certain my wanderings were over and my debts all paid when suddenly I came upon thy trumpet lying in the dust. Strike my drowsy heart with thy spell of youth. Let my joy in life blaze up in fire. Let the shafts of awakening fly through the heart of night, and a thrill of dread shake blindness and palsy. I have come to raise thy trumpet from the dust. Sleep is no more for me. My walk shall be through showers of arrows. Some shall run out of their houses and come to my side. Some shall weep. Some in their bed shall toss and groan in dire dreams. For tonight thy trumpet shall be sounded. From thee I have asked peace, only to find shame. Now I stand before thee. Help me to put on my armor. Let hard blows of trouble strike fire into my life. Let my heart beat in pain, the drum of thy victory. My hand shall be utterly emptied to take up thy trumpet. When, mad in their mirth, they raised dust to soil thy robe, O beautiful, it made my heart sick. I cried to thee and said, take thy rod of punishment and judge them. The morning light struck upon those eyes, red with the revel of night. The place of the white lily greeted their burning breath. The stars through the depth of the sacred dark stared at their carousing, at those that raised dust to soil thy robe, O beautiful. Thy judgment seat was in the flower garden, in the birds' notes in springtime, in the shady riverbanks where trees muttered in answer to the muttering of the waves. O my lover, they were pitiless in their passion. They prowled in the dark to snatch thy ornaments, to deck their own desires. When they had struck thee and thou wert pained, it pierced me to the quick, and I cried to thee and said, take thy sword, O my lover, and judge them. But thy justice was vigilant. A mother's tears were shed on their insolence. The imperishable faith of a lover hid their spears of rebellion in its own wounds. Thy judgment was in the mute pain of sleepless love, in the blush of the chaste, in the tears of the night of the desolate, in the pale morning light of forgiveness. O terrible, they in their reckless greed climbed thy gate at night, breaking into thy storehouse to rob thee. But the weight of their plunder grew immense, too heavy to carry or to remove. Therefore I cried to thee and said, forgive them, O terrible. Thy forgiveness burst in storms, throwing them down, scattering their thefts in the dust. Thy forgiveness was in the thunderstone, in the shower of blood, in the angry red of the sunset. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep on the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. Whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast of a sudden? He woke up startled, and the light from a woman's lamp struck his forgiving eyes. It was the dancing girl, starred with jewels, clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. She lowered her lamp and saw the young face, austerely beautiful. "Forgive me, young ascetic," said the woman. "Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not a fit bed for you." The ascetic answered, "Woman, go on your way. When the time is ripe, I will come to you." Suddenly, the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. The branches of the wayside trees were aching with blossom. Gay notes of the flute came floating in the warm spring air from afar. The citizens had gone to the woods to the festival of flowers. From the mid-sky gazed the full moon on the shadows of the silent town. The young ascetic was walking in the lonely street, while overhead the lovesick coils urged from the mango branches their sleepless plaint. Upagupta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. What woman lay in the shadow of the wall at his feet, struck with the black pestilence, her body spotted with sores, hurriedly driven away from the town? The ascetic sat by her side, taking her head on his knees, and moistened her lips with water and smeared her body with balm. "Who are you, merciful one?" asked the woman. "The time at last has come to visit you, and I am here," replied the young ascetic. This is no mere dallying of love between us, my lover. Again and again have swooped down upon me the screaming nights of storm, blowing out my lamp. Dark doubts have gathered, blotting out all stars from my sky. Again and again the banks have burst, letting the flood sweep away my harvest, and wailing and despair have rent my sky from end to end. This have I learnt, that there are blows of pain in your love, never the cold apathy of death. O fire, my brother, I sing victory to you. You are the bright red image of fearful freedom. You swing your arms in the sky. You sweep your impetuous fingers across the harp string. Your dance music is beautiful. When my days are ended and the gates are opened, you will burn to ashes this cordage of hands and feet. My body will be one with you. My heart will be caught in the whirls of your frenzy, and the burning heat that was my life will flash up and mingle itself in your flame.